Now we get into all the extras. So hopefully this will answer some of the questions. Okay, hopefully this will answer some of the questions that we had. So DDFS, it's our deduplicated file system. Basically what it allows us to do is to only copy down and store the unique blocks. And then we build on top of that DDFS AR, which is our replication. So we only have to move those same unique blocks between on-prem and cloud either way, whether we're replicating to the cloud or from the cloud. Using those, we can do our synthetic full backups. So here we are allowing you to take a backup, store only those unique blocks, but be able to do incrementals on top of incrementals where we push that together and create that full backup, which gives us the ability to boot from any point in time, again, without any performance problems. We do encrypt the data all the time, so we encrypt it on the local appliance at rest, we encrypt it in transit, and we encrypt it on the cloud side. This is something we looked at a lot, but we really only looked at managed DR sites and appliances. But if you look here, you can see we can manage all of our different solutions here. So whether it's our direct-to-cloud or our cloud application, we can manage all the customers that you have within this one pane of glass. So it's really great for a company to be able to come in, fire it up, and you can see all the alerts across all the products and everything that's going on in that environment. So if they're managing a large environment like a fleet, they'd be able to see everything in one pane of glass.
Do you support service providers so for multi-tenancy, so customers will be able to have their own panel as well? They can access their own infrastructure?
Yep, absolutely. If you want to allow them to do that, this is a multi-tiered dashboard. Yep. So it can go all the way down to the individual backup user for cloud backup. And you can have it at the company level. They can get in, and the MSPs would have their own that manages all of them. And they all have the same look and feel. They just limit what they can see.
Yeah, okay.
And we can create roles on what they can do and stuff like that too. Now, a couple things I want to bring up. We've got disaster recovery failover testing. We let you guys do that as much as you want to. There isn't any charge. We have the orchestration tool to help you. You can use the on-prem appliance, again, as basically a sandbox to do testing or anything that you need to do like that. We can't even boot multiple machines on it, put them on an isolated network so they can talk to each other. So you could test a web server, a database server, and all that, and do configuration changes and know that it's going to work. And then we give the customer the choice for where they want to put that secondary. Again, public cloud with a virtual, physical, that they can put one of their other data centers, or they can use the Infrascale cloud. I definitely think there's some advantages with our cloud because we don't, again, charge ingress, egress, CPU, all that kind of stuff. We've already covered hardware and software. The last part of the user experience is really support. And again, making our customers happy. We offer implementation assistance. That's included, so we can help them get things up and running. We train the customers, and we can train their teams that support the product. We offer integration with ConnectWise and Autotask and other third-party tools that are out there that a lot of MSPs use to manage their business. Plus, we have APIs, so if they want to integrate with our stuff, they can use our APIs to do that. And we offer 24/7, 365 support.
So what does your software development process look like? How often are you guys deploying updates, or?
Can I get through this slide, and then we can jump into that real quick? I just want to make sure we get. So in quick review, we can protect any of the workloads that you guys have got out there, whether they're physical, virtual, application. We securely protect it by encrypting the data at rest, in flight, and in the cloud. We give you the ability to boot and recover, whether it's on-prem or in the cloud, your cloud or public cloud, wherever you want to have that secondary appliance recovered. We make it all nice and quick using DDFS and our DDFS assisted replication. We can meet your configuration needs via our flexible scheduling, our retention, and our cloud orchestration. And then we have efficient management, again, with that screen we just saw where you can manage all the products, all the customers, solutions within that single pane of glass. And single pane of glass is kind of a industry hot thing everyone's trying to do right now. And I'd just like to bring up, we've had this for like at least 3 years now, so we've got it perfected. Now we can go to questions and answers.
So who do you target for a customer? Is it small, medium business, commercial?
Yes, medium,
enterprise?
small, medium to large businesses.
Okay. So MSPs, The
MSPs
DRA?
are one of our biggest customers, probably.
DR as a
Is-
service kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
How much of this can I do via either CLI, API, or is it all GUI driven?
As far as on the appliance?
All the configuration you've demonstrated to us today, setting up recovery.
Well, it's definitely easier to do it via the GUI, but you do have access to the appliance to be able to do things at the command line.
Right. The reason I asked that is because you demonstrated all the adding of VMs in. What I didn't see was what would be post that initial configuration. So say people are creating VMs over the course of the day, deleting them and so on, whether you've got any automated tool to pick that up and track that and automatically add it to a backup class, or whether somebody would be, as that got created, they'd be triggering that themselves from a command line in order to make sure that the backup was added, without having to go into the GUI every single time.
So for VMware, you can actually go over to the VMware tab, go to Connections, and you can enable the protect all the VMs, and that will actually grab any new VMs that come on. So as people create them, they'll automatically pop in. As they disappear, they'll stop being backed up, or you can go in and actually unconfigure them or retire them.
I just want a Power CLI script so I can just, pipe it to a JSON and then feed it back to you guys.
And you talked about the cost was primary protected. So imagine I create a lot of VMs today that I want to keep for a little bit of time, but they're going to die, as in we're not going to keep them running. We're just going to keep the image for the future. I assume I can do that, and if I do that, how does that then go into the cost model of how I pay for that as part of my per terabyte charging?
So there's a couple of things we can do around that. We didn't even get into a bunch of functionality, but we have an archive functionality. So if you created some VMs and then you just wanted to keep those forever, but you're not actively protecting those, you could put those into the archive, and we don't charge for that as protected primary space. So that's kind of free space for you to store whatever you want. But it's also on your storage. So that would be attached to
Right,
storage
okay.
you provide versus storage on the appliance.
But you keep the metadata configuration so I could find that again.
Yeah, we keep it in our archive. It's still indexed. You can
Yeah.
still go through. We even have the option there to encrypt it. So we can encrypt it in case you're using like an external drive or something and it got outside your boundaries. The data would all be encrypted on that.
How do you license the software and the hardware? I mean, can I buy the hardware as a subscription?
So it's by default all as a subscription that includes the hardware and the software and the cloud. But we do have options to buy just the hardware, which includes the software but does not include the cloud part. So there are options around how you want to configure that. And then of course the virtual appliance is licensed a little bit differently because you're providing your own hardware. So we don't charge for the hardware side of that.
What does your update cadence look like? How often?
yeah.
Okay.
We have larger updates for this product that come out, the big firmware updates that are full dot releases. Those are definitely less frequent, typically 1 or 2 a year. And then we have the dot releases that come out. If something new comes out and we need to add support for it, or if a bug is found or security, then we would definitely push one of those out.
So if I deploy your virtual appliance and let's say it's running Apache and there is a vulnerability for Apache, are the customers able to update that on their own, or it has to come from you?
You want me to take that?
Yeah.
We would do that.
Okay.
That would come from us. The whole system, all the software that runs on the machine is distributed as a single read-only disk image that we can update easily.
Okay.
But because of that, you can't update it easily.
Okay.
What about your file systems? Do you have your own proprietary file system for your appliance?
Yeah. So the appliance, the deduplicated storage is the DDFS file system for that storage. The rest of it that's not stored there is just regular file systems, XFS, SquashFS for the image files.
Okay, because I've run into other problems where like other solutions are running Gluster, for example, and it's broken and things don't work right. So I was just curious how your interoperability matrix and support long-term works.
Yeah, we try to keep it simple because that makes it easier to maintain, right? So it's just, the RAID is just a big XFS file system.
Cool.
Rarely has problems, but when it does, there's a good repair tool that comes with that, right? And then if the problem is at the next layer up in our deduplicated storage, we have a repair tool for that. But it's fairly reliable. That's It's nice to know it's there if you need it, but you're probably not going to need it.
Thank you.
I've got a question for Russ, actually.
Yes, Chris.
So you said you obviously not been with the company particularly long.
Yeah,
you
this is
know.
my 8th week.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. So what was it that when you actually looked at the company, what was that killer thing or that feature or that aspect of the technology or the company that made you want to get involved in?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think there's 3 things that I found. I was asked to come in by one of the private equity owners to do some due diligence on the company. And so without a doubt, the first thing is the space. The market, the customer need out there is not only large today, but growing, and will turn into a multi-cloud in the future as well. So even if you're all in one cloud, you're going to need a multi-cloud backup and recovery plan. And so our roadmap, we'll talk about a roadmap in 3 months. We can come back for the Cloud Tech Field Day. But then the second thing is we have a great 60,000 companies, 250,000 endpoints. We have great technology with a very strong customer base. It'd be different saying, oh, we're going to be a startup and we're going to really do this. Like, we have something to work with. We can take our customer base and turn them into evangelists for us. And then the third are the people, just phenomenal people. We have offices in Kyiv, Chennai, Bangalore, Salt Lake City, Los Angeles, Orlando, and that just the great culture that we can take advantage of. So for me, as a CEO, this is my 8th company in 20 years, and so I'm really excited to drop in and take it to the next level.